Hi friends, great to meet you after a long time. I'm going to talk about how to design instant tasks, especially in the ESL classroom. Today, teachers are supposed to process lesson plans well ahead of their classes, and they're supposed to have clear descriptions of the kind of tasks that they're going to really use in the classroom. It's been difficult for teachers to organize themselves well ahead, but it is all right if they are highly proficient enough to create their own task. It will be quite easy for them to go ahead and provide them the kind of task that they expect the students to perform. Irrespective of all the official procedure, I've really decided to come up with instant task design. And why is it really important for us to consider instant task design? It's very simple. The instant task design method helps you to understand that the students' learning potential and learning mood and learning phase continues to change. When I say learning pace, PACE, what I mean is the learning mood of the learner determines the learning pace of the learner depending on at what time the teacher meets, what is the context of learning, and what sort of a lesson are you really going to teach. Remember, if the students are really interested in a particular lesson, the time doesn't matter. It's also to do with the teacher-learner rapport. Why do I say teacher-learner rapport is very important? Simple. When I say teacher-learner rapport, I mean the teacher plays a very important role in creating the learning atmosphere, the learning ambience that the learners really participate in. So there are two important stakeholders here. One is the fellow learners, the other one is the teacher and the fellow teachers. Because if there was a very difficult session, very difficult learning session right before the English teacher's arrival, and the English teacher has to really look at the pulse of the students and then realize, okay, this is not the time for us to start the class right away, and we will have to really help them to relax a bit by having, come up with or having devised a strategy to come up with some humorous means of making them laugh for a while. That's why we say any learning is successful only when learners are quite happy and pleasant. If learners are terribly stressed up, they're highly depressed, or they find their learning difficulties unable to cope with, then it's going to be a very difficult job for a teacher to really tackle them. That is why I always say, learn to understand the pulse of the learner first. Look at what is the mood of the learners. Then you begin your class. And when you start the class, ensure that there are possibilities for them to have some interlude in between. So you will have to have certain humorous gaps in between your, knowledge transaction or a skill transaction. So otherwise, it's going to be very difficult for the learners to come up with quick learning solutions. But there may be a mixed classroom. One of my friends happened to ask me a question about handling a mixed ability classroom. Majority of us, wherever we are in India, we have this great problem of mixed ability or a mixed, skill students or participants. So students of various levels of learning potential, various levels of learning capacity, and quick learners and slow learners or average learners, all of them are together in a classroom. If this is the scenario, how are we going to handle? Are we going to use the same strategies for every learner? Please understand, it is not going to work out if you're going to use one strategy for all the learners. You will have to think of various strategies. One of the strategies that I make use of in those classrooms is to make sure that there is a complementary learning taking place all the time. Why do I say complementary learning is essential? Because there are quick learners, and those intelligent and quick learners could possibly share their skills. So the process of Learning can be further precipitated with the help of these quick learners who could be supplementary teachers for these slow learners and average learners. But it should be done in a very discreet fashion. It shouldn't be done in an overt, explicit manner. That is why the teacher should not share the secrets of who is the slow learner or an average learner, because I'm dead against branding a child. It is very difficult for us to, to motivate a child or a student if he or she is branded as a slow learner or an average learner. That's one of the reasons why I always say instant task design is going to help people to ensure that the learning takes place very smoothly. The teacher has to be very enthusiastic. The teacher should really come up with quick understanding of the classroom atmosphere and possibly think about activities which could help these learners to engage themselves immediately. And these learners have to be very happy to participate in the entire process of learning by grabbing this opportunity and grabbing this opportunity and participate in the entire process of learning. But that can happen only if the teacher can come up with ready instant jokes or instant tasks which could be humorous or group oriented or pair oriented, etc. The best example that I can provide you is process writing. So when I teach process writing, I ensure they all participate in narrating a story or writing down a story. Um, when they participate in this process writing task, as a team, two or three of them can come together, think about the words that I've written, and then they can come up with their own structures, or it could be even theme oriented. So they organize the entire story and they narrate the story one after the other. So the narrative sequence is taken care, the timing is taken care. In addition to it, the grammatical accuracy, appropriacy of the sentence structure, the thematic coherence, all these will be taken care by the entire class. Hence, I use this particular instant task design method quite often in my classrooms to teach sometimes elements of writing. You can do this even with the primary classes where you have storytelling possible. You can also think about creating an atmosphere among the students to think about using it for other kinds of spelling games, for example, grammatical games, etc. So instant task design in the field of like for example, when you teach grammar or spelling or elements of discourse or basics of writing will be of great help. Let's see. Hope this particular task design is going to be highly useful. In future, I would like to talk about it further, and I would always say instantaneous task design is an important teacher ability uh, in order to handle the mixed ability classroom. And the teachers have to come up with quick tasks, and they should be trained to understand the responsibility of creating quick tasks and help the learners to use their skills immediately in a group, in a team. In a way, it does do away with the social inhibitions. It encourages collaborative learning and it supports learners to learn from one another. I believe we can talk about this further in the next video. I wish you all success. Hope to see you soon in the next video with some similar inputs and with new strategies. Bye bye. See you.